feel about this time of the year. It's a time of promise, it's a time of moving forward, a time when you can be in a tight-knit family group. And it's also a time of learning. It's a time of finding yourself, a time of thinking about what you want to do, thinking about how you can improve things. It's also a time of taking stock of what you are doing. Also a time of giving and receiving. And that can be done in many, many ways, not just gifts. It can be giving time to somebody that you know is on their own. When you bring in a Christmas tree, it's not a Christmas tree, it is a Yule tree, a soul tree. You're bringing that life into your home, and upon its branches, not tinsel, not ornaments. No, we adorn it with wishes for people. Your log, you put the candles in, and for each person that's in your family. So if there's a family of 4, you would have 4 candles in. This is lit upon the table you're going to be eating at, and lit for the whole of the 12 night. And at the end, you get the one from the year before. You save it for that year. And on that year, when you light the new one, you chop the old one up and throw it onto a fire. And that has all the promise from the year before. And you can burn it, and that will then enhance what you want to gain this year. So again, it's like you're stocking up on 2 logs. Or you can keep 1 log and light it every year and absorb the energies every year. You don't have to do it the traditional way. You can do it the way you want it to be done, as your family do year in, year out, and will be passed down through your generations. We are going to cast a spell, and it's a spell of love, really, isn't it? It's a spell of love, a spell that anybody can do. And what I do is we start by asking for our energy. So we go within, we close our eyes, and we take a deep breath in through the nose, and we hold, and out through the mouth. And as you do this, you visualize right in the center of your being a light, a blue light, and you see that light, and you see it grow, and with every breath you take, you see it grow until you can feel that inner power growing. And that is your inner power. Guys, you pick your bell up and you ring it, and you say, "Oh, power within, I ask you come today and fill this box with energy, with love, with joy, with acceptance, with prosperity, with life, with birth of ideas, with birth of finances, with birth of relationships, with birth of everything you could wish for, with health, with abundance, with much, much love, with protection. I enhance today." Now guys, you need to visualize between the 2 flames on the altar, and we lift the bell again, and we then visualize a small pinprick of light, a blue light between the 2 flames. Now what you need to do is put your item that you want here between the flames. I have picked a seashell because the primordial sea of life and the shell that's had existence within that primordial sea, life-giving water. That is what I'm going to put into the box. Now I want you to visualise that blue light in the middle of the shell. And as you see that blue light, you take the blue light from within you and you visualise it coming from you and aiming at the shell right in the middle. I'm going to use this as my tool to aim. And as you aim that tool, you visualise that light coming from within and it aims into the shell and you say, by all I have spoken, by all I have wished, by all that's within me, I aim this at you, shell of life, and give it to you to enhance. Now see a whirlwind, a small little whirlwind growing and twisting and turning, and as you see it grow, but see it grow down into the shell. When it gets to that crescendo, aim your intent at it and see it spin and spin and spin and feel the emotion of what you want to give. And as you do such, you go, so mote it be. And it is done, guys. You ring the bell for the third time. And you take your shell and you hold it within your hand and you hold your other hand above it and you say to the shell, to who this will be given, I now encase this magic for the day they open the box and it will be released into them. So we say, power of the magic, power of the shell, power of my intent, make it grow and grow. Power of my intent, power within the shell. I see my joy of giving is growing 3 by 3. Power of my intent, I bestow to thee. Grow within the person I'm sending it to be. Grow, little shell, grow with filling power. I proclaim this now. You are filled with all I am to be. So mote it be. It is done. And with that, guys, you put it in the box and you seal the box. Power within this box, be it a gift of everything you want it to be, to hand to the person, and upon opening they will feel everything you want for them for the following year. So we have the spell here, guys, and it's another gift, but I pick one person each year to do this to. And they might just keep it on their shelf. The intent is there and it is meant for that person. So I say now, little box, little shell, all my power I give you now. Be healthy, strong and vibrant. It is done. There you go, guys. That is how easy it is to do a spell like this. My thoughts on Yule. I love Yule because Yule is the promise of the sun coming back, coming to life again, and we've got through the dark times and now it is the beginning of the lighter times, and that comes through then from Yule it goes through to, you know, the beginning of spring, and there's the hope for the following year. It's also a nice time to get together, to feast, to remember what's good for families, and that's the giving part as well as the receiving. And so the little gift box is something that I like to do, and it doesn't have to be much, but it's something that it comes from your heart, it comes from your power within, and it's just something that you give somebody that you really, it's better than any gift that you can give, really. So, I know I've probably said these stories before, but you know, we have to think about all sorts of things that go on at this time of the year, and it's an exciting time for the fairy folk, for they want to see their new king born. They want to see the baby that's been born to the great mother. And so they all, now normally I would do the fairies, but there is also a story for the beautiful animals that live in the forest, how too it's their king too, and they want to go see him. And so they all get together because it's a very long journey, and they are very short on body experience to get there. They're all young, and not a lot of them have had to do long journeys. And the fairies come and they say to the animals, you know, we all have a long journey to do, so you must learn a way to get there, and you only have so many hours to do it. Now there's this little rabbit that lives in a hutch with his mummy and daddy, and they're going to go on this trek to go visit their king. Imagine that, a bit like going to Buckingham Palace to see the Queen, you know, as a child, can you imagine? So they get very excited, and the mummy rabbit says to the little baby rabbit, now you can't bring anything with you because it will weigh you down, and me and your daddy cannot keep picking you up. We need our strength to get there, so if you don't get there, you're going to be left behind. The little rabbit thinks, oh, okay. But he wanted to take a camera with him to go visit the king so he could take a picture and put it on Facebook. Yay! Not happening. He hid the camera, but it was very heavy. And as they're making their way to see the king, he realises he's exhausted and he's thirsty and he's hungry because the extra weight has held him down. And the mummy turns round to him and says, no, you'll have to stay here and we'll come back after we've seen the king. It's your own fault. You know, you need to learn, and this is your punishment. You're going to have to wait here while we all go. And he sat there and he cried and he cried and he cried, when all of a sudden, out from the corner of his eye, he sees the great mother. She's making her way to where he wants to be. And he can't believe his eyes. She looks down at him and she says, little rabbit, what are you doing here? And he says, I wanted to come and visit you and see the new king. And she says, here he is in my arms. He is the promise of the following year. He is your new king. Look at his beautiful face. And with that, the little rabbit come up and he said, can I take a picture? And she said, of course. He took a picture. She said, I want you to not put it back up onto Facebook, because that's not nice. I want you to realise this is especially for you, to take back with you as something you can remember. And do not brag about it. Do not go on about it. We have seen you and you have seen us. And with that, she said, would you like to give him a kiss? And the little rabbit gave him a little kiss on his cheek and said, oh, thank you so much. I never thought I'd see you. And she said, I am your mother. I am your great mother, the great earth goddess, your spiritual mother. And this is your spiritual king. Here he is for you. And with that, she says, I have to go now. And she goes. He sits there with a big smile on his face, And when his mummy and daddy come back, they're saying, now have you learnt your lesson? It wasn't that good because we couldn't see them anyway. We were stuck at the back of the queue, and time got, and they just disappeared, and we never got to see the baby. So we were really disappointed. And with that, the little rabbit looked at them and kept it to himself. He had that picture all his life. And when he breathed his last breath, he left the picture for his grandchildren, his little grand rabbit, who was waiting to go visit the king. And he said to him, before I leave this mortal coil, I want you to have this picture, for this is the Great Mother. Keep it to yourself and hand it down to one of your grandchildren when you pass to the other side. And with that, he passed, and the grandchild looked at the photo, looked at everyone and smiled and kept it close to his heart. And there goes, that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. There was a little bit of the new and a little bit of the old, and I just wanted to get the thought of keeping love within you, keeping expectations within you, and keeping joy and your faith within you, and handing it to those that deserve it, those who are special to you. And that is what Yule is all about. I hope you have a fantastic Yule. And for those that celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a lovely Christmas too. And to all my new subscribers, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. To those who have come back, thank you also. And to those that are always with me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I wish you the best ever for this celebration. And I'm going to bid you hail and farewell now. So I'm going to say, wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. Halsa Valang.